Alright, guys. Sorry for the lateness of this one. I know it's been a few days. I got caught up doing some stuff around town, doing some stuff to further my career. So, I'll talk more about that later if you guys want. If not, you know, enjoy the vlog. Alright, so today, I'm going a little bit out of order from the VHS tapes, taking a little break from that, just because I wanted to get something out before I have to go back and do some more work again. So, we're going to take a pause from the VHS stuff. I was doing that sort of alphabetical, but I'm going to take a little break from that, and I'm going to talk about some movies that I love real quick. Just going to do one or two. So, I'm going to get these done. Hopefully you guys enjoy. So, today we're going to talk about John Carpenter's The Thing. This movie is phenomenal. To start, a little bit of history. John Carpenter is very well known as more of an indie director. You know, he did Halloween on a low budget, and it's one of the most successful movies he's done. And stuff like The Fog, Escape from New York, are more independently funded. This was his first big non-independent movie. This was funded through Universal, and it was intended to be a remake of the classic The Thing from Another World, which John Carpenter was a huge fan of, which you may have noticed if those of you have watched Halloween at all or recently, or are a huge fan of it. That's actually the movie that's playing on TV during the movie. So, a little bit of history about this one. The Thing from Another World is based on a short story called Who Goes There? And what John Carpenter wanted to do, instead of remaking The Thing from Another World, which was more of like a monster movie where the Thing is more of a man, humanoid-looking creature, which was a little bit further away from the original short story, he decided to redo it according to the short story rather than the original film. So, main story is Outpost 31 is an Antarctic research facility that is inhabited by the U.S., but also the Norwegians. And the Norwegians chase a dog onto their premises, and the Norwegians die, but they seem very agitated, so they're trying to figure out why they were, and it's because an alien that can shapeshift was found in the ice of Antarctica, killed their whole team, and now it's somewhere in the outposts. This movie is phenomenal. Like I said before, fantastic. Some interesting things about this movie is when it came out in 1982, it came out like 2 weeks or so after E.T. did, and everyone hated it. So many people hated it. John Carpenter was actually very depressed when it came out because it did so poorly. And so many people get bad reviews. A lot of bad reviews from this. Just said it was cold, cold-hearted, mean-spirited, very ugly, nasty, violent. And a lot of people didn't enjoy it for that, because the other alien movie you have to go off of is E.T., which is one of the most charming alien movies out there. So, didn't do well at the box office financially or critically, so they labeled it as a flop. Over time, it grew a lot of interest, and now it's hailed as one of like the best horror movies out there. What this film does is it's beautifully shot. One of the coolest aspects of it is, instead of the horror factor, it goes for more the paranoia factor. These people on the outpost go through paranoia. They start judging each other very quickly. And then it has great rewatch value because you always try to guess who's the thing when, and all that. The special effects are fantastic. A lot of puppetry, stop motion in portions. All the effects, for the most part, the explosions are real. They blew up a bunch of stuff. It's fantastic in that regard. Kurt Russell stars in it. Wilford Brimley is in it. Keith David is in it as well. Kurt Russell is in it, and he's, like I said in my Big Trouble in Little China review, John Carpenter and Kurt Russell are so, they go hand in hand ever since he did the TV movie Elvis. He's been working with, Kurt Russell's been working with John Carpenter. And so Keith David has also worked with him on They Live, which came out after this one. And It's it's phenomenal. Has about like a 2 hour runtime. I like to watch this movie right during the first snowstorm because the isolation and the snow. It's just perfect for it. Like I said before, the lighting's really great because it starts right before winter hits. So there's a lot of night shots. The flare lighting is some of my favorite. I'm always a sucker for flare lighting. There's flare lighting in this. I believe there's some in Alien, The Descent, Jurassic Park. I love it. I love the way it looks. I'm always a sucker for that. Like I said before, not a lot of critical reception, but over the years it has gotten a lot of interest online and with fans of John Carpenter's work. Some people hail this as his best. I would agree with that because it's just so well done. Interesting thing about this one is it is one of the few movies where he did not do the score. Ennio Morricone actually did the score, who is known for his westerns. He did The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, stuff like that. Very good with the western stuff. He also did The Mission, which has one of the best... It's a breathtaking soundtrack if you ever have the time to listen to it. Weird thing about the Ennio Morricone soundtrack, it's very... I'd say it's almost experimental for him. It's very droning, has a lot of lower points, a lot of interesting stuff with that. And one of the things that I thought was really weird about it is it was nominated for a Razzie. Those of you that don't know, a Razzie Award is basically like an Oscar for terrible things. And they used to have a Razzie Award for worst soundtrack, worst score for a movie. This was actually up for it, and another movie I own, Heaven's Gate, was also up for it. And the thing I still don't like about the worst score subject is it seems like they just tack it on because the movie didn't do well critically or financially. Heaven's Gate was a huge flop. The Thing was a huge flop. And they just put this score on there. It's like, oh, it's because that's what made the movie bad. No, it's because people... I don't want to sound pretentious and say they weren't ready for it, but the times these movies were released, they had bad timing upon release. Heaven's Gate was released in 1980 when the blockbuster craze was starting to hit. People didn't want to see longer movies, so that fell apart. And the Western craze was also dead at that. Was also on its way out at that point too, and the studio hacked his movie to garbage as well. The Thing released about like 2 weeks after E.T. It's not going to do well because E.T. is the alien movie, the touching alien movie. Then you have an R-rated movie with an all-male cast, and they're all at each other's throats all the time, and The Thing is all over the place, grotesque looking, and no one's going to want to see that. Anyway, now that we've gone over the movie a bit, let's talk about the different releases I have. You'll notice I have 2 of these. There's a reason for that, but I'm going to talk about the first one. The first one is, these are both on Blu-ray. The first one is like your standard Blu-ray release. This was released when Blu-ray was just coming out. As you can see, mine is broken. I don't know when this broke. I think it broke when I first got it. But it's got the great poster on it. Love the poster so much. I want to say it's Drew Struzan. But yes, it is a Drew Struzan. And on the bottom, with all the original Blu-ray releases, I have another one up here somewhere. It says, The Perfect High-Def Movie Experience. I'll get that up there, closer in frame. Perfect High-Def Movie Experience. The reason for that is when Blu-ray came out, there was something that combated that called HD DVD. HD DVD, of course, failed miserably. I don't have any HD DVDs. I kind of wish I did, but I do not. Other things about this one is... one of the things they like to showcase on is like you can access the internet through the Blu-ray. That's the Blu-ray experience, the U-Control. Picture-in-picture, where you can have interviews with the cast while you're watching the movie. I never really got that, because I feel like it's taking away from the movie. Like, I love commentary, because I feel like that's separate. That's a separate experience from seeing it picture-in-picture, in my opinion at least. But yeah, I never tried that out. And of course it has the feature commentary with Kurt Russell and John Carpenter. Excellent commentary. One of the best. it doesn't have that special feature thing like I was talking about before, where it's you know, animated interactive menus. They don't they didn't do that on this. It does have special features as for the definition and the audio, like that matters. But it's your typical one. If you want just the movie and the commentary, get this one. It's like, I think it was like $10 when I got it. Those are cheaper. But here, if you really love behind the scenes stuff and extra features, this is the one for you. This is the Thing Steelbook. This is I'm gonna get this out here. It has special artwork on there. That's nice. This this is the big one. This is 3 discs. Like I said, Steelbook. 1 disc is the original movie in 4K transfer of the movie. That's all that's on that one. The second one is a 2K scan from 2016 with some bonus features, and then the third disc is just nothing but special features. And to show you, here's the list with all the special features on it. It's these 2 giant paragraphs. That's just the special features. Like, here it is. This is the motherload. This was released through Scream Factory very recently, either this year or last year. And Scream Factory is part of Shout Factory, who do phenomenal home releases for things. The best home video release people are Shout Factory and Criterion. Definitely, those are the number 2 dudes for that. This is fantastic. The movie looks great. This has 3 commentary tracks. It's the John Carpenter, Kurt Russell one, which is one of the best commentary tracks I've heard. Only one I like better than that one would be the Thief commentary with James Caan and Michael Mann. That one's also fantastic. They've got radio spots, still galleries, promotional material, radio spots. They do this with all their releases. They just gather everything that has to do with the movie, any publicity stuff, and they'll put it out there for you. And it's fantastic. It's so great. Definitely. This was like, I want to say it was around $30, something like that. 30, 25. Used, though. So, or I think it was on sale when I bought it for 25. So, if you love stuff like this, if you're a huge fan of the Thing and you want it on Blu-ray and you don't know which one to get, this is the one to get. This is the one you need. But yeah, and I love this. The only thing with the Steelbook is, like, it's real great. It's real great when you first get it, but then it's like fingerprint city afterwards. It's just nuts all over the place. Anyway, now that is done, let's do finishing thoughts. Finishing thoughts. Movie is fantastic. It's one of the best. Definitely a horror movie classic from the great himself, John Carpenter. I would rate this 10 out of 10. This is a 10 out of 10 movie for me. Hands down. Pacing's great. The effects are fantastic. The acting is great. Everything about it is just so well made. You can tell so much love was put into this. And it is such a shame that it didn't do as well as it did in the box office. But it has found love everywhere. I feel like it's even ascended above cult classic at this point, and it's just become a classic. Even though cult definition would mean didn't do what it came out and all that. But you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, highly recommend this movie. If you haven't seen this movie, if you're a bit squeamish, I may stay away from it because a lot of the stuff is very grotesque in terms of the effects and everything. There are some animal deaths, but they're all fake and they're stuffed animals, so like don't worry about it. Other than that, if you're a horror fan, you have watched this. There's no way you haven't. Definitely check it out if you haven't. But I feel like this is a must for any horror fan. Absolutely. A must. Anyway, I will see you guys for another video coming soon. Here, I'll leave. It's like probably over here somewhere. The recommended, unless you've got like some weird algorithm. Anyway, see you guys for the next video.